Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon. We all talk about the digital transformation. People have the feel that digital transformation is about connecting with the digital technologies, whereas it is not. It is transforming the business processes aligned with the digital technology for an effective and efficient management system. So the buzzword is the processes, because processes are paramount. And before we jump on to the bandwagon of the digital transformation, it is important to streamline the business processes. Without streamlined business processes, no digital transformation would be useful and we end up with the failure. We have the asset management system ISO 55000, which provides an excellent foundation for the business processes streamlining. Basically, this system is a combination of the processes and the data, because we talked about a lot about the data. So it's a combination of processes and the data required to manage, monitor, and maintain an organization's asset throughout its life cycle, from procurement to the disposal. Let's look at the benefits, why ISO 55000 is so important. It brings asset management to the boardroom and creates the line of sight to the technical operation. It means normally the asset integrity management systems are initiated at the operational level by the integrity managers and the inspection and maintenance managers, and the top leadership is generally not aware. They are not even the owner of this development. So this 55,000 asset management system, it imposes that the boardroom managers and leaders are involved and they keep their side throughout the process. So the advantage is it creates a culture of continuous improvement. It provides the management informed decisions for taking about the investments and also about managing the risk. And this is how it improves the financial performance of an organization. It gives the organization a sustainability, efficiency, and effectiveness. It also takes out the silos of the organization. Okay. Now, this management system emphasizes the importance of the well-defined and coordinated asset management system that involves all the levels of organization. Especially the top management sets the tone by establishing the policies and objectives, and the entire organization works together to implement and improve the asset management system to maximize the value derived from the assets. There was a question in the previous presented about the friction from the management, friction from the people about the implementation. If the initiative is taken at the middle management level, you can expect the friction or resistance. But if the top management is taking the lead, generally you will find all the organizations to follow it without any resistance. Like all other management systems, ISO 55000 is also based on the PDCA cycle. We all are very familiar with this plan, do, check, act cycle. For any management system, it is important to identify the opportunities and risks. And this is where the top management sits and identifies the business risk and opportunities for their own business. They also try to understand the needs and expectations of the stakeholders, be it regulators, customers. So both the internal and external stakeholders are also important. And then they define the policies and procedures of the management system. This system particularly puts emphasis on the management, on the leadership. Leadership should take the interest, they should take the responsibility, they set the tone, they set the policies and objectives, they take the leadership, should take the responsibility of developing the asset management strategic plan as well. And they should ensure all the stakeholders within the organization follow it in a unified way. Planning is always the first step. And then the support from the resources. And resources, when we talk about resources, the key issue is the competence. Whatever we do, if the resources are not competent, not trained, not skilled, nothing will happen. No initiative will be fruitful. And besides the competency, the communication, both internal and external communication, is also of prime importance. Section 8 is basically the technical core part of the asset management system. It talks about the operational planning and control. It talks about the management of change, be it the permanent change or the temporary change. The risk of the change has to be assessed before we make sure that they are put in place. Similarly, a lot of outsourcing do happen in the oil and gas industry. So this is a very critical point to be considered at the top management level, and it should be made the integral part of the management system procedures. Performance monitoring, without measurement and without monitoring, nothing will improve. So it is always important in all the management system to perform, to monitor the performance by defining the needs and the methodologies of performance. The last thing is the improvement. Obviously, when we measure the performance and we carry out the management review, we get to know the non-conformances, the improvement areas, the opportunities, and also the risks to be able to improve the or mitigate the risk and to get the maximum benefit out of it. So the real advantage of following this system is that we have the ownership and accountability of all the management levels. All the coordinated efforts are made to drive the maximum benefit out of the management system. The next part is the inspection techniques. We talked about the data, and as the previous speaker talked about the quality data. Having the data only does not mean anything. It is even more costly and more bothersome. So it is always good to have the right quality data to pursue the management system, especially the asset integrity system. Let's quickly see the mechanical assets that we have in our industry. They are the pressure vessels, the storage tanks, the heat exchangers, boilers, reactors, columns, and they are exposed to certain damage mechanisms. So it is really important to understand the risk which the assets are exposed to. And if we have a clear understanding of what type of risk they are exposed to, we can identify what are the appropriate techniques to monitor the health of these assets. And if we are able to do that, the quality of data obtained would be of real use. So the mechanical assets, they are normally exposed to the corrosion of various types, be it general thinning or pitting or some stress corrosion or corrosion and insulation. Then we have stress corrosion cracking. We have high temperature damages, the mechanical and metallurgical failures. Since this is not the forum of the asset integrity, so I will try to keep it brief, but the objective is to mention that it is important to understand the damage mechanisms behind the failures and the need for adopting or deploying the right techniques with the right precision of detection and the probability of detection. There are various techniques deployed to identify the problems in the mechanical asset. Usually, in the past it was the radiographic technique which was difficult to keep a record of. So more and more emphasis is on the ultrasonic-based techniques, so UT scanning, the phase array, the TOF, the corrosion mapping, the CHIME, especially for the supports, metallography, long-range UT, magnetic flux detection. So these are the techniques which gives the data which can be captured digitally and can be used for further learning. Besides the usual inspections, it is important to take care of the fitness for service through the evaluation of the damage mechanisms and their remediation measures. Similarly, if there is a failure, then it is important to understand the root cause of the failure so that the failure repetitiveness can be avoided through the use of various techniques, including the laboratory scale, scanning electron microscope, fractography, metallography. So these are the techniques which guides us on the root cause of the failure so that the necessary improvement in the material or in the design or in the operational activity can be taken care of. Pipelines are also exposed to the damages. Besides the material and fabrication defects, these pipelines are exposed to the third party and they are exposed to the harsh environment. And this is why they are more prone to the failures. There are various techniques deployed to assess the health of the pipelines using the conventional techniques as well as the advanced techniques of the corrosion mapping, smart pigging, long-range UT. So these techniques are intended to give the real quantum of the failure and the reason of the failure. The next big category of asset is civil. Normally, civil structures are ignored into any asset management integrity assessment systems. But it is really important because all the mechanical equipment are installed on the civil structures. And besides that, the organization have a large number of civil structure which needs to be taken care of. Normally, these structures are under the threat of various reasons due to the structural inadequacy or the structural deterioration or the material defects developed during the usage. The environmental condition, they can also expose the material and cause the degradation. The operational conditions could be not favorable. So we have to understand the reason behind the deterioration of the civil structure. And if we fully understand what type of deterioration is happening, we can deploy the right technique to identify and to quantify the issues. And once we are able to quantify...
We have 1 minute.
Okay. And if we are able to quantify the issues, we will be able to sort of do the mitigation measures. Then a big series of electrical equipment, transformers, switchgear, circuit breakers, cables. We also have to understand the damage influencers, and accordingly we can deploy the diagnostic techniques. As the time is short, so we'll not go into the detail. And these diagnostic techniques will give us a preemptive information about the possible failure, and this is how we can not only avoid the failure, which are very expensive. Rotating equipment is a big category of assets. We all have the turbines, motors, generators, pumps, compressors, and they have their own typical issues with the damages. And again, the diagnostic techniques are applied as per the specific reason of failure. Now, we talked about the individual assets inspection, deploying the good techniques whereby the data is collected of good quality. But then how to make use of that data in an isolated manner. So it is important to have the digital transformation usage by connecting these assets on certain platform. SGS has a technological partnership with Cenosco, who were the developer of the asset management software for Shell, and now are available for all other clients in various sectors. So there is definitely an advantage of connected assets through the digital platform. I will not go into the detail, but just to tell you that Cenesco has moved into the digital maturity framework from the pre-digital to digitally reactive, digitally purposeful, integrated, and now digitally strategic, which is the good maturity level for any digital transformation for the connected assets. It is providing one platform for the entire organization. All the assets information is available. It can be keyed in and it can be made most current. All the methodologies for the assessment is there, the library of the assessment methodology, because just to do the inspection has no meaning unless we deploy the right technology, right assessment method, using the right type of the inspection technique. It would not be of any use. So it gives a single platform, easy to use. It provides the 3D visualization and the dashboards. Like other management system for the integrity, as Mr. Mohammad Fatah was explaining about the PDO, this Cenosco has also got this inspection management system comprising of various modules for the pressure equipment, for the tanks, for the civil structure, for the pipeline, for the corrosion detection and prediction methods, for the safety instrumentation. So these modules are quite useful. We don't have the time to go into the detail, but just to be very brief, that these modules are based on the various methodologies. Like for the pressure equipment, it is based on the RBI. I'll just close it up. And similarly, you can see the pipeline, the flange connections, safety instrumentation, where in the safety instrumentation you can carry out the LOPA and other studies, HAZOB studies. For the corrosion prediction, again, it is based on the industry experience, standards, and the technological innovations. Reliability-centered maintenance for the rotating equipment, civil equipment. Again, we have the host of the equipment, but it uses the RBI technology to shortlist the assets. Electrical instrumentation. Okay, just half a minute for SGS. We have a global presence of SGS for more than 150 years. In the region, in Middle East region, we also have quite a sizable business. And I can with confidence say that SGS can be a trusted partner throughout the project and asset life cycle. We are the certification body against the various management systems, including the ISO 55000 management system for the asset integrity. We have the complete suite of the advanced inspection techniques for all type of assets, and we are able to provide the support of digital transformation through the connected assets proposal that I made. You can see the whole series of services we provide throughout the asset life cycle, starting from the design through to procurement, construction, and usage of the operational cycle. So we have a complete set of services to be provided to the client to really give the value that they need. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Razzak. We can take maybe one question due to time constraint, and please keep it brief. Is there any question?
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's very nice. So I would like to ask you regarding this RCM, that is reliability-centered maintenance, how this RCM is being used for asset life cycle. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the comment and the question. As we know, RCM is mainly for the rotating assets. And for rotating assets, you need to understand the problem that they pose, and either you wait for the run to failure or you try to predict the condition of the rotating equipment. So there are various techniques. You can test the oil which is used as lubricant in these rotating equipment. You can use the thermal radiography. You can use the diagnostics, laser alignment and other alignments, and thereby you can find out what is the ailment which is coming up. And before it is propped up to the level that you have to stop or change the rotating equipment, you can do some predictive or condition-based monitoring. And then you can further take it on to the reliability center maintenance, which is a corporate solution, whereby you can not only do the condition-based monitoring, but also do the mathematical modeling of what will go wrong and what is the probability. So this is how RCM is helping the rotating equipment throughout its life cycle for the organization. I hope it answers the question. Thank you.